So now I've temporarily put the body on the car, just with elastic band, and it's going to go for a drive. Whoa! So now I'm using 2 lithium-ion cells in series, so it's about 8 volts when it's fully charged, and this is a 9-volt motor, so this works out quite well. So the stall is about 4 watts, so now the little car is quite fast. The problem is that the solar panels I have aren't this high voltage, so I'll have to get more solar panels. I'm hoping to get flexible solar panels to put on the body. And I don't have a remote. I want to get a receiver and remote so I can control this, but right now it just drives in a circle. It's pretty fast. And it hits stuff. So I'm really happy how this body fits on here. So even though I can have all my electronics, my battery. Back there we have a switch. I'm just really happy how this whole model is coming together. And I'm learning a lot about the ful-scale. I can basically build this like a metal frame, and then I can have metal roll bars, and then I can have fiberglass over it. I just made it so I can remove this because it's easiest on the model. The ful-scale I think will just have maybe a door here, so the front person will be able to look out the sides in front. There might be some windows here for the passenger, and then this door will just go up the side. There'll be like a trunk here in the back, so all the wheel stuff will end here, have the motor, and it'll probably be like from a motorcycle, the back suspension and wheel, and then this whole back will be like a trunk, so there'll be 2 joints here, and this whole back will lift up. The rear taillight will be like in a aerodynamic plastic cover that's clear, so the light will be, it'll be flat, but then it'll taper. So I want all the wind to come back here. In the front, the lights will probably be in the aerodynamic wheel cover, so you'll have a front headlight here that will turn with the wheels. I hope to get some flexible solar panels. This solar panel I have here, it's too big, it's too wide, so basically I'll have solar panels anywhere. When you look at it from above, whatever you can see will basically have solar panels on it. So it'll be very efficient when the sun is directly overhead. So I'm very happy with the shape, and I was able to basically, I just drew the shape from the side, the shape of the car I wanted, considering aerodynamics and recovery here, pressure recovery, so there's no separation, and I drew it from above. And then I just took the 2 dimensions here, so the height I put here, and the width I took here, and I basically just drew the section. And I did that for all sections, so there's 5 sections. The first section is 0, the last section, these aren't sections, these are just taper points where it actually meets. So this was the last section here, and this was the last section here, but then there's sections in here, and you can see the section, there's section 3 and then section 4 behind it. So I can do this for the ful-scale. I basically just draw out my model, and then I just make all these bulkheads. So even in the ful-scale I can make them out of plywood and cut out the center and then use fiberglass. So I already have a really good idea, my basic ful-scale model. I can use a motorcycle back end or a scooter back end. I can use the chain drive from that and just mount an electric motor on the back with the right ratio, so it'll be direct drive. And then the wheels I can use from like a golf cart or a small car or something, or I could build my own with the steering. And then I'll have like a metal frame, and then I can have a shell that goes on top of that. And that will give me a good idea. I can start doing some testing to see how efficient it is and start changing the systems. But it's really easy on the small scale. This cost me no money. I just built this with what I had. So it's really nice to test. So I'll continue testing with this model and then move to the ful-scale. So here you can really see how I made the body. So basically I cut out all these sections. So this is the first section here. I drew a line here, so this is the bottom piece. I only have the top half. I'm going to build a bottom half where the batteries are going to be. So you see all these sections where the line is, this is the bottom and this is the top. So this is just the top cover. And the top cover sits on here and the bottom one will be mounted underneath. So this is section 2. So I took this curve, I cut this curve out, and then I cut a curve where there's only half an inch difference. So it's just an outline here, half an inch. And then this is the next one. So this is the taller one. These 2 are where the people are going to be housed between. So my head, the driver's head will be here, and the passenger's head will be somewhere here. So this is basically the driving space. The legs of the driver will go through to here. This will be a crumple zone, for accidents, and the whole back will be a crumple zone as well. So safety is also very important for me. I think aerodynamics, efficiency, and safety. So those are all the sections. I made out of just like a clear peanut butter jar, so it's just plastic. I cut the whole section out like this, and basically it's just gonna go on top. So that's how the window's gonna look. So I drew all the different bulkhead shapes here. So I'm going to cover this in a metal wire frame, and then I'm going to use paper mache to cover it for the body of this electric car. So I'm going to cut out the center of these, so there's just like a little, maybe ½ inch. I don't want it to be too heavy, and I want to put things on the inside as well. Body sections for the car model. It's cool. I can actually visualize what it's going to look like now. So this first clothespin here, this is for the point, the front point. So it's going to come out and it's going to curve around all these shapes. Now you see that it's low in the front. This is like the hood of the car, and we'll have a very steep slanted windshield right here. And then the first person will go here, the second person will go there. So this is the occupancy area from here to here. The legs would go under here up to this bulkhead, and this will be a crush zone for crash safety. And in the back it goes to a point. So there's this bulkhead, and then it goes to the point. So this is a really slow recovery in here. So now I want to just join up the bottom here, so I can glue this all as one section. And this section then will go on top of this frame. So I'll just be able to put it on. I'll have two halves. I'll have a bottom half and the top half, and I'll be able to remove it to do maintenance on the car. Because I'm gonna test a while with this car. I'm gonna use bigger motors and test a couple of different things before I start building the full scale. So the tire is going to have like an aerodynamic cover over it, as well as the front tires, and then it's going to taper to a nice point. The air will go over, and then it'll boom, perfect, without separation. So this should have a coefficient of drag of about 0.1, 0.15, something like that, so about 3 times lower than the average car. Also, the frontal area is less than half of the average car, because there's 2 people in tandem. One person will be sitting here, their head here, and then legs out here, and the second person will be sitting behind them with the legs around. So it's kind of comfort-wise, it's kind of a one-person vehicle with luggage, but you can get 2 people in here. And then the back, this whole section will be for luggage, so I think I'll have it open up to the side. So I used a wood frame, and I bent the metal mesh around it. So I started off with just a rectangular piece, and I just put it around that part. But here, with the windshield here, there's a quick change in angle. So I had to cut a triangle of mesh out here and bent it down, and I'm just securing it with like twist ties. There's just some copper wire that I'm twisting around, and that works really well. So I'm just finishing up the back. It's going to taper to this point here. So again, we have, it comes up quite quickly with the windshield, and then at about 1/4 length or 1/3 length, there's a very slow taper here to the back. So you want the wind to come up and over, and then you want it to hang on all the way here. The transition here between the windshield and the top of the car, I have to make sure that this is really smooth, so I want to overbend it here and then have a transition. Otherwise the wind is going to come up, and then the quick transition, it's going to separate. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Everything fits in. The motor fits in perfectly. There's just enough clearance. So what I'm going to do now with this, so I'm going to cover it all in paper mache. So I'm just doing the simple paper mache. This is equal parts water and flour, white flour, and I have just some salt a certain amount of salt. And I have my frame ready to go. I cut all my strips. So the first top layer is done. So I just did 1 layer of paper, and I went around this way. So the next time I'm going to have the strips this way, so that it's strong in both directions. I think it looks pretty good. Now I can see some of the inconsistencies with the body. I can see that the tail's off to the side. I can see that it's not like a tapered shape. But it's pretty good. I mean, it comes in nicely. Here there's a bump from the top. It has a really nice aerodynamic curve. Really nice. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. And then the front here, this is where I'm going to put probably just some clear plastic from like a plastic bottle as the windshield. So yeah, it should look really good. I'll do 2 or 3 layers of this, and then I will paint it with some waterproof paint, and it should look really, really good.